Hello, welcome to this video. In today's video, I'm going to be covering how online tutoring works at eClassrooms. Hopefully that will give you a bit of a sense of how we are different and how we really add value to students in our online lessons. Okay, so let's get started. There are three main elements of our online teaching. We've got teaching, we've got questioning, and we have got assessment for learning. And what I'm going to be doing over the course of this video is going over each of those bullet points and answering questions and letting you know how we do these things online. Okay, so let's get started on teaching. So for me to go over this, the best thing I think would be for you to see a demonstration. Let me show you what the student typically sees. With teaching, for example, what we have here is the textbook on the left hand side and a whiteboard on which I can write. So for example, if I was teaching indices and starting off, I might demonstrate a few examples like so. So if we look at question A, we've been asked to work out x squared times by x to the power of 5. Now x squared, we should understand, is x times x, and x to the power of 5 is x multiplied by itself 5 times. And so what we realize is that x has been multiplied by itself 7 times, so when we simplify that, we get x to the power of 7. Now, one thing you might have noticed here is that we've got the 2 and the 5. And essentially what we're doing is we are adding powers. So we could have got to the same answer by saying x to the power of 2 times x to the power of 5 is the same as x to the power of 2 plus 5, which is x to the power of 7. Now for part B, we have got 2r squared times by 3r cubed. Now in this instance, what we can see here is we have these coefficients, numbers in front of our algebraic terms. When we have that and we're multiplying, the first thing we would do is multiply those coefficients together. So 2 times 3 is 6, and now we can say it's the same as r squared times r to the power of 3. Now, thinking back to the previous example, when we were multiplying algebraic terms with indices, what we did is we added the powers, so we're going to do the same now. 2 plus 3, and so we get 6r to the power of 5. So that gives you a flavor for how we demonstrate our teaching. Okay, so going back to my presentation there, I've sort of shown you how the textbook works and how my whiteboard works, and how I use that to demonstrate examples. Now, once we finish the question, or once we finish a particular topic, I might then go over and do exam practice on those topics. So for example, this is a past exam question on indices, and we have now, if we imagine I've finished teaching this topic, I will now go over exam style questions so that students can develop their confidence and not be nervous in an exam style situation. So let's have a look at that. So 8 to the power of a third. Initially, I'll give students the time to do this question. They will attempt this question first because I've already done the teaching up to this point. And then a student might either get it right, ask for help, or get it wrong. And so we're going to cover each of those instances and what I do in that case. So 8 to the power of a third, let's say we're now going over this question that is asking me to work out the cube root of 8, which is 2. Now part B, we've got 8 to the power of minus 2 over 3. So in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to say 1 over, because we've got a negative power, it's 1 over 8 to the power of 2 over 3. Now that is the same as saying 8 to the power of the cube root of 8, because the denominator is 3, that is telling us to take a particular root, and the numerator of this power is telling us to raise it to that power. So we get 1 over 2 squared, and our answer is 1 over 4. So this is something I might do at the end of each topic to develop a student's confidence and exam technique. And once we have finished a particular topic, every week there will be set exam questions to develop their long-term memory and their confidence over the course of the year. Okay, so going back to the elements of my teaching, we'll look at examples, I'll demonstrate how they work. I'll then cover difficult questions and really get students to start thinking about developing their understanding on a particular topic. Once we've got a good grasp of that topic, we will then go into exam practice, and that exam practice is the key to develop your understanding on how different questions can be testing a particular topic. Ultimately, that will build your child's confidence. Okay, that's what we're trying to do with our teaching, to make them feel like they can go into any exam and they can then access the knowledge they have gained and use that in any situation and not be worried. If I just go back a second, the 3 main elements of our teaching. Hopefully you've got a flavour for the way we teach. Now, teaching is one thing. We're teaching students over the internet here. They'll be watching the video just like you did. Sorry, a live lesson, not a video. You might be wondering, how do we know that they are working at this point, and how do we know they have understood? And so I'm now going to go over to questioning. So questioning and assessment for learning, that is the key to online lessons. If we don't question our students and we don't assess them for what they've understood, then it's been a waste of time. So let's go back, and I'm going to try and demonstrate how this works. Let's say I have given a student this question to do here. Do I know what they've done? How do I know whether they've got that right or wrong? Now, we use an interactive whiteboard. So you can see here some student whiteboards from a previous session. Obviously, at the time of recording this video, you can't see students enter live writing on there. But you can see that this student has handed in this question there. I can then give it feedback. I can either say, well done, or this was wrong. Or I can even write a comment. Did you think about X? And then send that to the student, just as a way of questioning those students to make sure that they're doing things right. So you can then see how the teacher, which is me, can keep an eye on every student's work. I'm keeping a close eye on that. I'm constantly looking at their working out to ensure that they are doing things correctly. And if they're not, I will go back and question them until they understand what's the problem and how they can correct it. So ultimately, I'm trying to correct their work live. Okay, so I'm correcting their work. Now, due to the way we work online, students can ask me questions in private without letting other students know that they're stuck. I think that is one of the key things which is amazing about our tutoring, because students are scared to let others know that they are stuck. Students feel stupid sometimes, and so what we're trying to do is create a direct line of conversation with the teacher. That allows students to be confident in asking the teacher questions. I respond to them directly without letting others know, that someone was stuck on something. And in lessons, I won't be using the student's name, because that again makes students worried that the spotlight is on them and it makes them uncomfortable. And the whole point of this tutoring is to make them comfortable enough to ask questions when stuck, ask for help, so that I can help them as much as possible. Okay, so now you can see with this interactive whiteboard, students will upload photos of their work, and I will then be able to give them instant feedback, right, wrong, or what corrections need to be made. And we're constantly focusing on that. So I hope you're getting a flavor for how we work online there. If you have any questions, please pop them in the comments below, so that I can get back to you and answer any questions. So going back to this slide, you can see how we ask students questions and they have to answer, and they have to show us proof using the online whiteboard that they upload their work onto. Now, one thing I will say about that is, if you have a graphics tablet, then students can even write on it live. And that's amazing because they're not having to upload their work at the end of the question. I can see in live time what working out the student's doing, and I can give them instant feedback at the moment they go wrong. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. The other option is to finish the question and then upload a photo, by which point a student might have made a number of mistakes which they won't be aware of. Okay, that's why I recommend having a graphics tablet, but it's not the biggest problem in the world if you don't have one. Now, I pay particular attention to a student showing certain working out. I'm constantly telling them what examiners are looking for. And I'm telling them to show their working out to make it really simple for examiners to give marks, because students are demonstrating they understand that topic. Students, how do students ask questions? Now, I've covered this briefly. We do our online lessons through Zoom. In Zoom, there is the chat, and in the chat, there is an option to ask questions privately without other students finding out that you're stuck. So that's how we work. Students don't like being put under the spotlight. They don't want others to feel that, you know, they're stuck on something. And ultimately, all of these things mean a student is getting constant feedback. We are constantly giving students feedback, which helps them improve their mathematics, helps them understand a bit better, and ultimately that will result in better exam grades, which is what we're all after. Ultimately, that's the reason why you are probably getting tuition for your child, because you want better grades for your children. Okay, so hopefully that's given you a flavor on how our online tutoring works. So now, for you to see it live, we are offering you a completely free trial. Please go to our website, www.eClassrooms.org. Follow the steps in the website and we will get you prepared for a free trial so that your child can see it. There are no obligations, there are no card details to fill. We want to work with students who need a bit of help in maths, that are maths and economics at the moment. We want to help students get top grades. For you to see how we add value and how our qualified teachers add value, book a free trial today. There are no obligations, there are no card details, and we're not going to tie you into any long-term contracts. We are here to help. Okay, so hopefully you found this video useful. Again, go to our website, eClassrooms.org, and then follow the instructions there to get set up for your free trial. Thank you for watching this video.